Or whichever comes first.
Ja,
Dat mag ik even maar geschokt. Dit is dan de boek gegaan. Sowieso.
Okay, we start.
Okay, good morning. Welcome to the press conference, and I will start to introduce the participants here. We have Bart Magerman, on-site organizer. You have Marc, President of the Royal Belgium Bridge Federation. Kamras, EBL Championships Committee Manager. On my left, Josef, Harsanyi, EBL Treasurer, and Rigal, IBPA President. So as usual, it will be an interactive press conference about the organization of the championships. You know, it was easy. We came back for the seventh time in Ostend. We know everything about the venue. The number of participants was quite good, but I can say that everybody can enter in the venue without any problems for the organization. And I think it was running well, and Kamras will confirm all that. The number of participants don't break the record. We have more in Budapest, you know, but it was good participation in the middle of what we got in the previous championship. So I will not say more with that. I thank Rigal and IBPA for all the job the journalist has made during the championship, as usual. For the press, you saw that we have a few journalists on site, in fact, for the bulletin. we decided starting 2014 and 15 two important things. The first one was not to print the bulletin, and everybody can have it on the internet, and that it is also to save some money, and also because a lot of people was looking in fact on their tablet and not on the paper. The second thing is to have many journalists outside of the championship, and they are looking the matches on their tablet, and it was an evolution, we can say that. By the past, the journalists were at the table, then they were looking more and more internet, and most of them at the end was only in the press room looking at their tablet and not in fact looking more. So we need to have some journalists on site because there is also something outside of the match. But we reduce the number of them, and we have a very good team. I can say we have the best journalists across the world to do the job and to have this bulletin. And the return I got about the quality of the bulletin is quite good for the championships. Okay, so if Jan wish to say some words about the organization or more, or Marc about also the RBBF organization?
From my point of view, just I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. I have nothing specific to add to what Yves just said, so I hand it over to Marc.
Well, I have a lot to say, of course. No, really, I think the job of Bart and myself was to ensure that playing conditions here were optimal, and that's our main worry. We wanted to have a total player satisfaction in terms of number of square meters available, meeting places, and general ambience. And I think Bart, if we hear the reaction of the players, I think most of them are satisfied with the conditions here. And so up to now, like they say in Belgium, touch wood, we are quite satisfied with the way this championship has been going on, and we hope that today and tomorrow we will have a nice final. And if on Saturday evening we will close the curtain, Bart and myself, after 2 years, Bart, of hard work and preparation, will be very, very satisfied. And I hope that besides playing conditions, all over conditions for staying here in this nice city have been more than acceptable. The weather, as always, has been Belgian type of weather, meaning in the morning some clouds, then possibly some sunshine during the day, and the evening clouds again, but this is typically Belgium, certainly in the month of June. So, but also there overall, it was, I think, average to good weather, and so also there I hope that players and participants' satisfaction was okay. So I don't know, Bart, if you want to say something more about the organization?
No, I don't have anything to add. We just agreed that I would do the difficult questions and you would do the simple introduction.
Okay, well.
So I give the word back to Jan, I think. So, Barry?
Thank you. Just a couple of points for everyone. We are planning to make a presentation at some point of a copy of the handbook for 2018 to January Rigal and would solicit contributions from IBPA members. So I know you've already contributed, Hannah, but if you would pass it on back, anyone can add any comments for January Rigal that they would like included. And would all members of IBPA please sign the attendance forms which are on the little table by the door on my left-hand side as you either come in or go out. That was just the preliminaries. From the press point of view, I think we're very happy with the amount of space provided to us, a working internet service, Swaan managing all the requests with his usual flair. It was very pleasant to have a coffee machine available. Thank you, Jan, for providing that. We try to keep our members happy and inspired, and without coffee, we really can't do that. Printed bulletins. I think the majority of IBPA members took advantage of the availability of bulletins. So that may be more a comment on our increasing age, or perhaps our Luddite tendencies, that we still like to see material on the printed page rather than on our computers. But maybe I'm just putting my thoughts into other people's minds. I think people were very happy with the venue, and from a journalist perspective, we got to cover a fair number of matches, and I think the bulletin reflected that. The fact that we were running over 30 pages quite regularly is a tribute to the team of writers. And I also say to Herman de Waal, who took on the role of acting as a proofreader and copy editor, which I don't believe he had come down prepared to do, but the fact that we have an off-site layout editor meant that that role in particular was one which really did require rather more time than we'd expected, and he filled that role very admirably. Thank you, Herman. Josef, any?
So from the financial view, the championship followed or aim to ensure a perfect championship, but in the same time save at the points where we can do. And I am sure it functioned, it worked very well. The incomes, we had 104,500 euros from the open teams, women teams 66,950, senior stream 65,750, and from the pairs tournaments we cashed 28,567. So altogether it is 265,767. That is not such big amount. Looking at our balance, what we want to in the next years repair and come back on the level where we have been 2 years ago before the cheating, but it is absolutely satisfactory for us. So I am sure that nobody has complained. And it was a good job from our Belgian friends who supported us enormous and were very, very good colleagues. And also from the president who agitated many countries to participate, and championships committee who made, I tell you, professional his job.
Okay, so question from the floor.
Yes, sir.
Belgian.
I have a rather good voice and a short question, so I can do it without microphone, I think. How sure is it that we will gather in Opatia next year? Is it firm or pending?
A great question. I have not the answer. We signed a contract with the Croatian Federation. But you know that when we organize the championships, there is a first contract between EBL and the host bridge federation. But inside of that, there is always a second contract between the hosting federation and the authorities, for example, for the city to have the venue and so on. So normally everything is clear, but we have some things that we are thinking that maybe not very clear at all, the participation of the municipality. The mayor in Opatia lost his majority in the town, so sometimes he is not so free that he was before. But he said that for these championships, normally everything is clear. After that, we cannot say more today, but you know that the youth championships will be held in Opatia in 3 weeks. And I think Jan will be there, Josef also, and they will clarify the situation, because if there is some problem, we have to take a very quick answer to this problem.
I can just add to that that we will have our first new executive meeting in Opatia already, and I would say there we will try to make sure about the final status and until we've had that meeting towards the end of the month, I wouldn't, the end of the middle of July actually, we should be able to say firmly whether we go there or not. But right now I wouldn't book any hotels or flights.
Today morning I did phone with our good friend Josef, the president of the Croatian Federation and the motor of the Croatian bridge sport, organizer of many, many European and World Championships in Croatia. And I said to him that if we do not have a satisfactory structure of venues where we can place everybody who wants to play there, in that case we have a problem, and this problem have to recognize as soon as possible. As Jan said, the deadline is the Youth Championship. He has an understanding for us. If some change would come, it will be made in a friendly manner, and we did learn enough from the Montecatini case that we have to have some secret spare solution, plan B, and Jan was diligent, and Yves was diligent, and we try all to be diligent to make the best possible.
We have a plan B, but we don't talk about it for the moment.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah. Can I ask, since Pauw asked a question, if he would be able to volunteer a little information for us in return on the 2018 IBPA handbook in terms of its availability on and offline?
Right. The handbook is free to download for members, and if you have lost or don't know the password, you can ask for it, of course. We got the bequest of Patrick Jourdain for about $600 roughly. And as Patrick was a fan of the printed material, we decided to use this bequest to print a number of hard copies that you can get here. Just sign one copy by Jan, or you can ask Dilip Gidvani to post one to you. In the latter case, you will have to pay Dilip the postage, which is about $16 US.
Thank you.
Next question? Yes, Jan.
Jan van Kleef, NRC Handelsblad, Bridge Magazine in, and nowadays bit 72. Nothing wrong being in Ostend again. It feels like home, working and playing here. So my question is a little bit different. It's about a cheating thing, which goes on and on and on. Now my question is, does the EBL still run any risks, financial risks by claims by pairs like Anthony Nunes or doctors, because they seem to rebound in court, costs under Deutsches Landesgericht. Correct? Oberlandesgericht. So they're already appealing on a high level. And also, in connection with this all going on, are there any risks as to do we see them back on the playing areas, the championships?
About the financial part, Josef will answer. We have now an insurance. We have, of course, it was all the information were given in Belfast in the seminar in February, and also during the assembly. Are they back? For the moment, they are not back, because you know that we have a rule of reciprocity in the statutes and bylaws, and they are suspended by the Italian Federation, and up to the end of the suspension of the Italian Federation, they are also suspended by the EBL and by the WBL. Of course, they appeal, and it will be an hearing, I think, if I
good memory, it is the 8th of December in Italy. Well, if the 8th of December in Italy, there is some new, and they decide not to sentence them, the situation will be different. But for the moment, they are sentenced by the Italian Federation and by reciprocity by the EBL and the WBF. So they cannot come back before the end of March of 2019. And if they are coming back, they cannot play together because we have another article of our bylaws and statutes that players who have been sentenced for cheating cannot play together. So you cannot see Fantoni and Nunes at the end of their sentence coming back to play together, and Fantoni, for example, cannot play also with Fischer or cannot play with another one. Okay. So we have that, but in William we need to have the confirmation of the sentence by the TAR. TAR, it is TAR Lazio, it is a special tribunal for sport in Italy, where it is last level for all sentences for sport in Italy. About the financial part, Josef?
Yes, we did invest in these cases. We had the best possible legal service in Switzerland by lawyers who are allowed to work with the CAS, Court Arbitrage du Sport. And we did not want to make mistakes in the procedure which could result much higher losses than we did pay to our lawyers what we had to pay for our process costs intern of EBL and outside. You have to know that since 2013 do we have really usable video material which helps to hunt the cheaters, and we did not have the legal order how to do it, how to make it, and it was a time of a beginning, and we did know from the World Bridge Federation case, from the German doctor's case, that here can be make mistakes, and we did want to avoid it, and we invested the necessary money. Jan, you asked me, Budapest, if it will be an endless process. I said, no. You asked me if we have to increase the yearly membership fee. I said no, and at this General Assembly, the Executive Committee of the EBL stated again, we remain at the calculation method what we had in the last 8 years, so we survived financially. That is the point, the financial point. But there is a main point, and perhaps Jan can tell more about the general aspects. As a member of the investigation committee and a very active worker of the group of the fighting against cheater, I would like to tell you, there can be ridiculous decisions of courts. We shall respect them as we have to be as a serious organization. But the last word will be said by the players. And it can happen that once the doctors will come back to play in Germany. But I am looking for those guys who want to create a team with them. The same from Fantoni and Nunes. I did talk with a very important person of his former team, and he said me, if I like, he can give publicly that he never want to have them as members of his team.
The only thing I can add is that, first of all, we should point out again, we have an insurance policy. Of course, there is a deductible, but so there will always be a limit to what damage can occur. As to the prevention of cheating, we are, in my opinion, and it has been discussed with some others, we need to change some aspects of the wording, both in the laws of bridge and in our codes, in order to try to prevent that future CAS can argue the same way as this CAS panel managed to argue in order to make us not win the case. So, and then in addition, better quality cameras and cameras covering, I mean not cameras, young cameras, but you know.
Could be a good election.
To cover the whole playing area and
election is over.
And to cover every table actually, whether broadcast on BBO or Funbridge or not. There we have already started some new procedures. I don't know if you have noticed. Screen regulations on how to handle the tray and the board. So you know, step by step, we are trying to do what we can to minimize the risks of cheating.
Okay, other question? No more question?
Do we have any?
Yes,
Do we have any idea about 2020, next European team championships?
I will not say nothing because you know I will not be in charge of this one, but we start to visit some places for 2020, and the new board is looking to take a decision in the next month. We can say that.
We hope.
Okay. So we have visited some in Portugal, some in Turkey, and some otherwhere, and the best is to announce 2 years before, but this time it was difficult because the contract were not so easy to sign in advance in all these places, and but I am sure that Jan and the new board will take the decision as soon as possible.
And any informal information about world tournaments next year?
World tournament?
Yeah, and nothing has come through to you formally or informally?
Just to say for World Bridge Federation, it is that next year for the Bermuda Bowl it will be in Sanya in China, and the most important information for these championships it is that in the all categories it will be 8 qualified for team qualified for the World Championships. The World Championship will have some change. The round robin, so it will be 24 teams in place of 22. So 1 day more for the round robin and 1 day less for the final. So it will be the same time, time, but with 1 day more for round robin with 24 teams in place of 22. So 8 days in place of 7 and 1 day less at the end of the final. The second thing about these World Championships, it will be a new series. We have started to do it in, also you remember in Wrocław it was a mix at the same time, and we will have also a mixed in the World Championships in Sanya. And it is the reason that EBL has also to organize a mixed team championships. For many reasons it was impossible the decision was took in Philadelphia by the WBF in March. It was too short to organize these mixed championships here because the countries have not no time to organize trials or something like that. So we postponed that to February next year, and it will be a 7-day competition. And for the place, also Jan in charge, and we'll announce it as soon as possible. Jan.
Very, very soon.
Very, very soon. Okay.
Is there any intention to make the mixed championship part of the European Championship in years going forward, or is that too soon to say?
I think the problem in the whole situation, I believe, and it started from the WBF side, to organize a world championship in mixed teams at the same time as you have the other open and women's. You're not going to have, in my opinion, a world championships with the world's best pairs in that category. I personally would have preferred to have it separate, to make it really the best in the world, but now it is what it is. Our qualification in February will probably be much stronger than the World Championship, actually. And I see this maybe as a trial. If it works out very well on the WBF level, maybe it will continue this way. If not, maybe WBF will change. So, but we also have a problem with the calendar. Always adding international events is not always popular with the NBOs. We are blocking off time when they have their own festivals and other important tournaments. So the question is also, do we always have to do these events for a full week, covering a weekend? Most NBOs have their important events during weekends, so maybe we can make some events 5-day events and have them Monday to Friday. I mean, there are a lot of thoughts that has to go into this, and I think it's too early to say what the final solution will be.
Okay, Hulda.
I just wanted to ask, what are the candidates of the mixed trials hosting cities? Can you share it with us?
For the mixed candidates are Jurmala, Tallinn in Latvia, Tallinn in Estonia, and Lisbon in Portugal. And I think we will be able to announce it really within a few days.
And for the schedule, you have it on the calendar. It is the last week of February. Okay, no more questions? Barry, you want to close?
Well, other than saying thank you to all of our representatives here and to all of you for attending, I believe Jan told me we had 50 names listed of journalists who have been present at this tournament, which actually seems like a very good response. And as usual, contributions by you to the International Bridge Press Association monthly bulletins are appreciated. I will say that we do plan to make the idea of contributing to that bulletin more attractive in the near future. But even before we do that, if you have good hands and are interested in winning awards, please either provide them to the Daily Bulletin here or provide them to John Carruthers for the monthly bulletin, because we rely on your contributions to keep the magazines interesting. So anything either humorous, entertaining, especially good, especially bad, we would love to hear about it. Your stories are of interest, and if there are languages that we can understand, we will translate them if necessary. So, thank you in advance.
Championship book?
Oh, championship book, yes. Brian, do you have any comments?
About the championship book?
Well,
okay, I'm sure I can shout loud enough without that, but what do people want to know?
Tell us what's proposed.
What's proposed? The same every year. Try to cover as much of the best action as we can. I'm sure you've all seen that the last few years have moved from black and white to full colour, which I think makes it a more attractive book to look at. Same writers, same basic approach, until enough people convince me to do differently.
Same hands.
Almost certainly the same hands, yeah. If you have a good hand once, why not use it again and again? A bit like Marc's jokes. Not this Marc, I'm joking.
So now, as usual, there is a cocktail waiting you on the corridor. Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you.